Welcome back, Nick and Lex here. Thank you so much for joining me to another episode of Music with Nick. Today, I'm super excited. I'm a little bit also, well, this is a special video because I'm gonna be doing Steely Dan or Donald Fagen without Alexia. But I mean, it's all good because probably we're gonna listen to this song hundreds of times. These songs. So as we always do. So it's not so bad. But this is from Michelle, so it's all fair game, you know. And because, you know, Donald Fagen and Steely Dan is Michelle's favorite band. I mean, as far as I know, she is like us, like when all we play in the car is Steely Dan. There's nothing else. I mean, yes, sometimes there's some Yes going on, some Rush going on, some Alan Holdsworth going on. But just like if somebody's in the car with us, it's Steely Dan because Steely Dan is music that everybody can appreciate, everybody can get into. It's just very good music for a car ride. You know, if you're going 30 minutes in one direction, an hour in the other, you can always, you know, play Asia or, you know, I don't know, anything, you know. So yeah, so I wanted to say thank you to Michelle for sponsoring this marathon. It's not the longest one. It's just, and it's from an album I've never heard before, and also from a Donald Fagen album we've only done one song of. So so yeah, so we're talking about the album. Oh, wait a minute. It's just from two Steely Dan songs from Everything Must Go and one from Kamakiriat. Kamakiriat, we have done, I think one. I think the first one, Trans Iceland Skyway. But this one here for Michelle is Florida Room. And this is from basically 1993. I thought it was going to be closer to The Night Fly, but I mean, hey, it doesn't matter, you know. And then we're going to do it from Everything Must Go. This is an album that I've never even touched, like never. So we're going to do Everything Must Go and Godwhacker and Everything Must Go. And you know what I do when songs are like, oh my god, I can't believe you did this without Alexia, then I just redo it. We just redo it, you know, no problem. Like we did Blood on the Rooftops, and it was so worth it. So hey, if that's the case, we'll redo it. Don't worry, guys. But for now, I'm gonna have the honor of listening to this for the first time ever, but without her. So it kind of sucks, but hey, you know, she can't do marathons. She can't. She can barely, you know, do 10 minutes, and with all the interruptions and with all the talking, it's just too much. So, but she'll watch it. She'll watch this one. So yeah, but thank you, Michelle, for sponsoring this video, for all your love, for getting us into Steely Dan, and I mean, you know, everybody else, of course, but I mean, Michelle kind of was like pushing it more, you know, than everybody else. She's like, oh, you have not heard this? Okay, here we go. Listen to that and listen to this. And then like love, you know, occurred. And tonight, actually, we're going to go and see Steely Dan. We're going to go see Citizen Dan. They're a local Denver Steely Dan cover band. And they're amazing. I mean, if I say that they played better than the actual Steely Dan that we saw in Oregon, I wouldn't be too far away. They really got their stuff down, honestly. Like, for example, if you've ever seen Brit Floyd or Get the Let Out, that kind of precision. And we went to see them some time ago, and then we stayed, and they were like, who are these kids? And they know all the songs, and they're like singing along everything, you know. We were like just singing along and shouting and dancing, and then the lead singer was like, well, now we're gonna play like what I guess is the only like reggae song they have, and Alexa's like Haitian divorce, you know, that kind of like, and like the guys on the stage, and we were like very close. They're like, what the hell is wrong with these kids? You know, I mean, because they saw Alexia and some other friends who were Alexia's age, and it was just, they're like, and he even said, oh, we have some younger people in the audience tonight, awesome. But then we're just like singing along everything. So at the end of the night, they're like, who are you guys? What the hell? And we're like, oh, we just love Steely Dan, and we have this YouTube channel. And they're like, oh, cool. And we're like, we just filmed your entire show. Is that okay? And so we put it on YouTube as a live. And but I think tonight we can't film. This was more like a private thing. Tonight is more like a bigger thing with like seating, because this one was just, you could stand there. Today we're sitting, and it's just gonna be awesome. So yeah, this is like the longest intro ever, but I mean, when it comes to Steely Dan, there's so much to talk about, you know. But yeah, this has been such a journey, and I'm so in love with this band. It's ridiculous, and I've been saving, like, we've been saving it for you guys, you know, and because it's been kind of like painful to not listen to everything. But yeah, we're now through with basically everything from, you know, Pretzel and Pretzel Logic, Katie, the what's the one, well, of course, Gaucho Asia, but the one Countdown, I think those are it. And then the only one that we're missing, kind of like the first one, Can't Buy a Thrill. We're kind of like that. We only have heard like 2 or 3, but then pretty much everything from the others. There's like maybe 1 missing on each, and then we have heard now 2 from 2 Against Nature, and this is now 2 from Everything Must Go. So I'm very excited. So all right, so enough of me talking. Thanks again, Michelle. I wish you all the best. And of course, everyone here who's a Steely Dan fan, thank you for being here. It's like the longest intro ever, but hey, you know, we're talking about the Dan here, not just any band, okay? So, so we're gonna start it off with Florida Room from Donald Fagen, 1993, and then we're gonna do Godwhacker and Everything Must Go from Everything Must Go 2003. All right, so cool, because when we do these together, Alexa and I, we just smile because we're so excited to do it. So let's just get into it. Here we go. Boom. So yeah, it's just like the same. It's like literally the same reaction every Steely Dan or every song that Donald Fagen is involved with. It's just like ridiculously good. It's just like from the bass line. The bass line is like prestige, like, and then the drumming, and there's so much happening. It's so difficult to like kind of like listen to everything, and I also want to pay attention to the lyrics, which is super hard. But I know it's about Florida, and when everything is like freezing, like the snowbirds come. And I used to live in Florida. That's the state I lived in the United States when I moved here. So I know how Florida is, and all the people from the cold areas come down, to spend the winters and stuff like that. So I can know exactly what he's talking about. But the bass and the sax and the backing vocalist. I don't know if it goes that way, but it's just so like so harmonious. It's so jazzy. It's so good. It's so good, And yeah, I mean, and his voice, I love how Donald always manages to be kind of like fresh, like, because on Asia he has a specific voice. On Gaucho it's totally different. The intention is different. The delivery is kind of different. Or Pretzel Logic, totally different. But he has like these really nice vocal codes, and like I've said before, he's not the best singer, but he doesn't have to be. He has that flair. He has that touch in his voice that's basically all they need. They don't need a John Anderson that's like an angel, They need Donald Fagen. That's all. If anybody else would sing, it wouldn't be the Dan. I mean, that's like the only thing I can critique when I hear like a cover of Steely Dan, even though Citizen Dan, he nails Donald's voice pretty well, like really, really good. So it's also another thing that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, it's just so good. It's ridiculous, It's just so feel good. This music makes me feel so good because it's all about perfection, and I don't know, it's like just such great music. But yeah, I guess everybody already knew that. So what am I talking about here, right? So let's just continue with this. This is great. But I'm super happy. And did you see when I did this with the phone, Alexia was calling? Of course she was. She never calls me, But yeah, when I do a reaction of Donald Fagen, she's right there. I guess she felt it or something. Okay, now let's continue. Let's go.
When the summer's gone, I get ready. Make that Caribbean run. Got to have some time in the sun. I'm in the sun. When the cold wind comes, I go where the lions blow. I keep drifting back.
I love that. The sax player here, I don't know who it is, but I'm sure it's somebody very, very good because they only work with the best. But I love the guitar, that muting, the palm muting. Boom, 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 boom. The bass and everything, just beautiful. Great tune. One of those tunes that you can just like put on repeat and it's always gonna be like, that's what I love about the Dan, is because even though I've heard like especially Gaucho, I don't know, I have like something with Gaucho. I've heard it more than Asia. But every time I put on a Gaucho, I hear something new, something in a song. Maybe like Babylon Sisters, Glamour Profession, I don't know, you know? It's just ridiculous, you know? The solo of Glamour Profession, which is played by Steve Kahn, which by the way, he's my friend, because not like, hey, what's up, Nick? But I have him on this Alan Holdsworth guitar. It's called the Unreal Alan Holdsworth guitar group, and he's on there. And we had this friend, John McCain, and yeah, John McCain. He passed away a couple of years ago, but John McCain told me, buy these picks. These are the picks that Alan Holdsworth uses. And then Steve Kahn would chime in. I'm like, is that Steve Kahn? Steve Kahn, because I knew him from a guy who played me a song of his. It's called Mama Chola. Da dum bum, da dum bumpy, dum da dum bum bum. It's really cool. So that's why I knew Steve Kahn. I was like, wow, that's the guy, and I love his playing. And then when I heard Gaucho, when I heard Glamour Profession, I looked up the solo, Steve Kahn. So, you know, that's what happens, I guess, in the world. This world is so small. Okay, let's continue with Godwhacker. And this is after their, you know, successful, I might say, 20 years hiatus, and then they did this new album, Two Against Nature, win a Grammy and everything, and then they released this. So this is the first time I'm gonna play this. I'm so excited. So let's see. Alexia missed call, so I'll call her back after this. I don't want to interrupt. Okay, here we go.
At the start of the end of it.
So the guitar playing, of course, is freaking amazing, beautifully outside scaled here. I don't know if it's Walter. I'm pretty sure it is, but I did hear a lick there that sounds a lot like Larry. So let me see if my ears are correct. But I can't. I can't. No, it can't be Larry Carlton. Okay. Let's see. Godwhacker. Solo. Okay, this is number 4. Number 4. Bass, all tracks, solo guitar on this. This was his solo. Yay! Okay. Awesome. And Everything Must Go is number 9. Who plays number 9? Solo on number 9. I guess it's like an alto saxophone solo. Man. And these backing vocals. Jesus. And I love that it sounds so good. Like Donald sounds so well with these backing vocals. Like they're always beautifully performed, and just in the right moment when they're basically done with the solo, they come back in. Man, this is so good. And it's a 4-minute song. Oh, well, barely 5 minutes, and there's so much value in here, but there's nothing from the old gang that I recall here, like on the bass, but that's okay. I mean from the old musicians from the classic Steely Dan releases. But hey, man, it's so sad because it says this is after 20 years, after the 20-year studio hiatus, and then they released Two Against Nature, Everything Must Go, the band's most recent studio album, their last founding member. And their last with founding member Walter Becker before his death in 2017. Why, man? Like they had so much time to make more music. But I guess, you get tired of things. I mean, you just get tired of things. And it is a bummer that they didn't record more, but you can't really say they had enough, man. They did what they did, and we have what we have. And that's it. And do we have Walter Becker solo stuff? We have Donald Fagen solo stuff. So it's just, that's the way it goes, That's the way life goes. So, but it's just, there's such a dynamic duo, I think the most powerful that I've ever heard with other musicians. I mean, I've heard dynamic duos like Jason Becker and Marty Friedman, or Simon and Garfunkel, stuff like that. But these two were way out of, on a different level, I guess. Okay, let's continue. And I did stop at a nice point there, I guess. Godwhacker's on the case. Yeah. I mean, the rhythm section of Steely Dan is so tight. You know, the bass and the drums, they're like one, they're in a unison, you know, and that's what is so important. It's so funky, it's jazzy, it's, it's like yacht rock at its finest. I'm also growing fond very much of the Doobies, Doobie Brothers. Their early work is fantastic. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like I can't even I'm like obsessed with their early stuff now. Like I was like, oh, I like, the Michael McDonald stuff. And now that I've heard more their early stuff, it's almost proggy, they had some like I can't stop listening to living on the fault line, and then there's a little bit of of Michael McDonald. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, he's in there, but he's just like playing he's not the main vocalist, but he's there, and it's just so good, and then Slippery St. Paul. They did block the video because of the live, but I disputed it. The live version of Dangerous. So don't please, if you do request a song, don't do Doobies live because we get in trouble. All right, so now Everything Must Go. So I guess I don't know if this is the last song together. I mean, it is the last song, so I guess I have to redo this with Alexia because this is the last song they ever recorded. But you can't really say that this is the last song, Sometimes they record the last song on the album is the first one they actually recorded. So I think that we have that situation with Rush, where the last song they ever recorded is on that album, and it's the last one, and it's the last track. But yeah, let's listen to Everything Must Go. It's a little bit on the longer side. Perfect. Okay, here we go.
Let's admit the bastards beat us. I moved to dissolve the corporation in a pool of margaritas. So let's switch off all the lights, light up all the luggage, cranking up the afterglow. 'Cause we're going out of business. Everything must go. Talk about your major pain and suffering. Now our self-esteem is shattered. Show the world our mighty high. Tell me, can you dig it this fugazi? Now it's gone from late to later. Frankly, I could use a little FaceTime in the service elevator. And if Dave from Acquisitions was to get in on the action with his handy-cam in tow, well, we're going out of business. Everything must go.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind that solo, but I've noticed that this is, I think, the song where I've heard Donald use the most, like he's being very adventurous with his voice. He's like, he's like singing very high. He's doing a lot of scales with his voice. And it's very difficult to sing like that, you know, but he's doing it. And so you see he is capable, but he just doesn't do it very often. But he's very like, you know, like I dig that. It's really cool to hear him do that. And it goes so well. Again, the backing vocals, the sax here is just like melting my insides. It's completely. I love that it's a little bit more slow paced, and it's kind of sad, you know, that he says like we're going out of business, everything must go, because it's their last album, you know. But then again, beautifully played, beautiful everything, and I really try to capture like the guitar, the bass, the drums, the backing vocals, all the horn instruments. It's really difficult on one listening. So and also, some people sometimes say, and I have like my best thing now that I say, and even Jim told me, say that. If somebody says, hey, don't pause, say, hey, it's a reaction video, okay? Like if you want to listen to the song, go on Spotify and listen to your song. You don't need me. I'm not your DJ, okay? This is a reaction video. We're going to pause because we want to talk about stuff, right? So it's like the best answer, you know. You can tell someone, it's like you don't even have to talk about the legality and all that crap that YouTube wants. It's like, hey, you know, I love that. And when I said that one day, it's like, yes, use that always. Just like, and there's people like, hey, you have to respect the music. Dude, we respect the music. We do this because we respect the music, we love the music. So, but for them pausing the track is like disrespecting the artist. Come on, you know. So that's just ridiculous. So okay, so I rewound so we can listen to the solo from the beginning. See, that's what I think is respecting the artist. There we go.
Well, we're going out of business. Everything must go.
beautiful. Wow. This was just amazing. Great. Oh, but I don't know what that was. But the solo, man. Oh my god, these lines were just beautiful phrasing, arpeggios, very, of course, legato. That's the technique that you apply on the guitar to sound a little bit more saxy, a little bit more windy. You know, when you play legato, when you hammer on all the notes, you don't want that from the guitar. So that's what I've been practicing for years, and I pretty much can play with like one arm in the air and just like, you know, hammer on all the notes. And it gets kind of difficult. You need kind of like a little bit of an attack here and there, but very, very softly. And that's why I use these picks. They're very soft and they don't sound on the string. So you can do like this. You can do like 1, 2 and play like 8 notes, and then 1 and play like another 6 or so. And that gives you like the legato sound that I just personally love very much. That's what I love so much Alan Holdsworth or Brett Garsett, or, you know, those players. Also, I guess, you know, Pat Metheny does use the pick a little bit more he has a very huge pick, but also very soft. So you don't really hear that pick as much. And I'm gotten very critical of staccato players and legato players. It's very different technique. But yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about guitar, but I guess because of the sax, because to recreate something like this on the guitar is very difficult, but it's possible. This was just beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. You know, I mean, I'm so grateful for you guys, you know, getting us through this Steely Dan journey. And I remember I saw this reaction channel when we started, and because we were like, what do other people listen to? Because we did Dream Theater, we did Sting, Peter Gabriel, we had no idea, you know. So, and then it says like, oh, this couple reaction to Steely Dan. I was like, Steely Dan. And I honestly thought that Steely Dan was a guy named Dan, and who played, I don't know, I think I've said this before in a video, I thought it was just a guy playing like a steel guitar, you know, Steely Dan. Because I never knew about the whole joke and what it actually means, the Steely Dan name, right? I had no idea what that was. So I was like, Steely Dan, oh, I think that's country music or something. Oh, cool. And then when they requested Steely Dan, we did Peg. And that was the first time I listened to Steely Dan. But now when I listen to Peg, Peg is such a different song from everything else that Steely Dan plays. Peg is very commercial. And even in that reaction, I was like, oh, this sounds like disco. And I was clapping my fingers out of rhythm, which is, I don't know why. I guess still when we were recording back in those days, the first year we would use a phone and we had to sync the audio with the video. And sometimes we would screw up. So I don't know why that is out of my finger snapping is out of sync because we synced it incorrectly, or I just lost rhythm in that moment in time. But yeah, so that was our first reaction, and it's all there, you know, like our Steely Dan journey is all on YouTube, and it's so cool to be able to be, we can look back and say, hey, remember, Alexia, when we didn't know anything about Steely Dan and we discovered them? I remember, I mean, even Michelle, like that one where it says that solo, you see? The first time I heard Kurt Chalamet, I was like, wow, that solo was really good. Like, but it's something I think I could play. And then 3 days later, I recorded it. And it's not the best recording. It's like there is some time, you know, discrepancies because I just learned it so fast. And then I just wanted to record it and get it out. But now I play pretty much spot on. And maybe I should do another recording. And also it got demonetized, so I never got anything for that solo because I did leave Walter singing. So it got kind of like copyrighted and everything. So, but yeah, maybe I should do another take. But thank you so much, Michelle, for being there for us with this journey and with the channel. I mean, I guess, I don't know when you joined, but I remember being at 1,000 subs or 2,000 subs, you know. and when we started doing the reaction videos, and now we're like literally yesterday we hit 52,000, and I hope it just goes further until, I don't know, maybe 100. I don't know when it's gonna stop. It's going very slowly. I see all these channels, they have like 300,000 subscribers in like a year, but they do different stuff, and I don't know, they do mostly videos and they do stuff like, you know, Stairway to Heaven and Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff like that right off the bat, and so everybody wants to see. And they also know how to kind of like title it, uh like rappers like listen to Steely Dan for the first time, or millennials, or so. And we've always been like, just like a couple. We're just a couple. So I guess the attention obviously on our just the title is a little bit less, but hey, we're not in here for the subs. It's just fascinating to see that you can get, when you put your heart and soul into something, you will get to more and more. But yeah, like I said, we don't do it for the subs, but it does feel nice, to say, wow, all these people like subscribe because they like it, so I guess it's even better when it's slowly and it's not that much, because it's not just a mass. They just didn't click on it and say sub because, oh no, they really found something in your video that they liked, and then that's why they subbed, so it's more like a personal like thing that I think with this channel. Well, I guess I blabbered on enough, but hey, leave it to Nick to convert a 15-minute video into a 45-minute video. I love it, man. I love you, Michelle. Thank you so much for all your support. We do miss you, but we know you're busy with life and everything, and as like we are, we just get so busy, we're lacking behind. But I guess we did release today something about the Patreon. We're gonna be more on top of things, but sometimes life just like kicks in, and it's very difficult. So thank you again, everyone for watching. Thank you, Michelle, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.